All right, not seeing. Done. See if these match. 1E2X 61. Yeah. We are streaming here via OBS, just not. I think we are having an issue here. So you guys getting any video? I see we got a few people commenting here. I've got on the studio, I'm not showing anything. Sign into chat. I'm already signed in. You guys seeing or hearing anything? So you can see me all right? I'm just looking at my YouTube studio here where I've got my streaming set up, and it's showing nothing except a circle that we're thinking. So if you can see me, then I guess we'll just continue on. That's just kind of odd. Awesome. Well, I guess that's a YouTube issue and not a me issue. So again, new to this whole live stream thing, so I figured I'd give a second stream a bit of a go and get some practice in. Not really a whole lot to discuss, a few things on my mind, but I figured I'd just give myself a little more practice. So sorry, I should have taped over that. This isn't a plug for WGU. That's just my coffee cup. Sorry. So how's everybody doing today? Everybody doing all right? So who do we got down here? I got to blow this up. I got my glasses on, but I still can't see very well. So we got Charlie, Dimitri. I can't read the other name. I apologize. But glad to see you guys. Hope you guys are having a great day today. I just wanted to get on, like I said, and get a little more practice in on this live stream thing because I really enjoyed it last time, having a little chat with you guys and everything. But there was also something that I've been reading a lot about, and so I just kind of wanted to get some opinions from other people in the know and in the Linux community and see what you guys are thinking about it. And that is, I want to tread carefully when I say this. There's a lot of dissension, I guess you would say. And I just kind of wanted to get people's ideas and thoughts on that. Is that what you guys see when you get into, like I said, I don't interact with community very often in the different distributions and the different softwares and stuff like that. I don't get into it a whole lot, but I do get in and I read a little bit, and I just see a lot of just, I guess, like I said, a lot of dissension. So, any of you guys got any thoughts on that? Because it's really kind of worrisome. There's this whole idea of trying to get Linux out to the masses and get all this stuff out to the masses, and more people if we can take desktop user share and bring that up and this and that. But then I kind of got this idea that people are getting into these forums and into these communities and seeing this pick at each other, and I don't think it's too enticing for people. So I don't know. That's kind of what was on my mind. So I figured I'll just let that question marinate a little bit, and we can talk about that. We can have a discussion, whatever you guys want to do. So what's going on in your guys' world? Anything you guys want to talk about in general? Or I don't think this is going to be a super long stream, but I think we'll do as much as we can. Oh, I got a warning going on. Let's see here. Open Studio. I got something going on here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I got that warning again. Bitrate. So that version is. Let's go ahead and take this and move it over to a different workspace here. Sorry. Yeah, stream's current bitrate is lower than recommended. Am I looking all right on your guys' end? Am I stuttering, doing anything like that? Hey, Daryl Loftus, how's it going? Yeah, I don't understand the animosity either. It's I'm gonna say this: it's an operating system. It's not the end of the world if you're using something that somebody else doesn't like, or if you've got a different opinion on something that somebody else is using. And I just don't see the need for all of the dissension and animosity in these different forums and these different groups and communities and everything. It's everybody's so quick to jump down your throat. I know we got the RTFM guys and the guys that are just like, if you got to ask questions, you shouldn't bother using it. And I get this. You're gonna find those people on everything. But man, for the guys that want to grow this operating system and this ecosystem and everything, it just seems like it's self-defeating. So, not clear for me your question. I'm a Java developer, but Linux Unix topics are just on interesting level, not deep. So I think my thoughts will not be so interesting. Well, Dimitri, I mean the whole idea of animosity in these different groups, I'm sure it happens in the software development field as well. I mean I know it goes on everywhere. There's always going to be people that disagree, and there's going to be those that push harder than others, and there's going to be people that just can't seem to get along with anybody. So I mean I guess this isn't a overall just Linux topic, but maybe more of a overall general topic of, I guess the old, why can't we all just get along, it seems to be that it's just getting harder and harder nowadays, and the instant go-to when you disagree with somebody is shut them down, or, well, I don't agree with what you said and we don't share the same opinion, so we must be enemies. And that just kind of seems like the way things are going. And I see it a lot. I've seen it a lot lately. I've been kind of getting on different forums and reading stuff. I tend not to participate as much in them. I might make a comment here and there, but most of the time I just try to keep myself silent, fly on the wall type and all. But I just see it, and it's sad because there's a lot of cool projects out there, and I see people getting really bent out of shape over stuff, shutting people down, kicking people out, doing all this stuff, and it's like, you're kind of hurting yourself. So I'm not bothered about the massives. I'm here to learn new things and interest in Void. Great. All right, Charlie. Yeah, we can talk about that all you want. Like I said, that was just on my mind. I figured I'd pose that question. People could respond to that or ask other questions, or we could talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I am completely fine with that. Like I said, that was just something that was on my mind that I figured I'd run by you guys and see what you thought. So, I prefer Fedora, but it's simply due to stability, available software. I love Arch and Void is neat. Just prefer the software available and stable on Fedora. Ubuntu is just fine. Yeah, that's kind of one of the big things people talk about when they talk about Void, is software availability. Yes, XBPS doesn't have as large of a repo as, say, Debian or Fedora or Arch and these different different distros, but they do have the XBPS, the void source packages. There we go. Boy, I can't think today. They do have the void source packages, which obviously isn't as large as like the AUR, but it is helpful there. And then of course you can always build your software that you want, and then there's the option of flat packs as well. I have a couple flat packs. In fact, the OBS version I'm running is a flat pack because it just seems to run better. So I'm not a huge fan of flat packs and app images and snaps and all that stuff. Don't ask me why, because I just I couldn't give you a valid reason. It's just one of those things I choose to build software or install software from the repository as opposed to doing a flat pack. That's just me. They're obviously great tools, but not for everybody, I guess. So I think that's one of the biggest complaints. Like I said last time on my live stream, audio has been a big issue with Void. People don't seem to figure out how to get audio working very well. But I have noticed just in questions I'm getting and people responding to stuff and in forums I'm reading and everything that Void is growing in popularity. Is it at Arch or Debian or Fedora level yet? No, it's not. Do I think it's going to be a while before it gets there? Yeah. Do I think it will get there? That's iffy. But it is growing, and hey, I love having it. So, excuse me one second. Let me change something here. Okay. This is just annoying me. You guys can't see it, but I can, and it's staring right in my face. There we go. What do we got here? I'm the same, but a fan of Flatpak unless necessary. Yeah, like I said, OBS runs better than installing Flatpak from the repository. Don't ask me why that is. It just seems to run better. So the Turkish football team is the champs this season. Okay. I'm assuming when you say Turkish football, you're talking soccer. That's the American the American term. Don't hate me for saying that, but I don't follow. But you can use DistroBox. Yes, I've actually messed around with DistroBox a little bit. I'm finding more and more. I used to like distro hopping. I used to like building VMs and stuff, which I still do, build VMs and check things out and everything. But I don't keep them around like I used to. I used to have a massive amount of virtual machines installed, and I would use different distros on. I'd have triple, quadruple boot and have all different kinds of distros on there, and I've gotten away from that just because while I like installing them, I've said before, I have fun installing systems. Once they're installed, that's kind of where it ends for me. I mean, I don't find it necessary to get into them, I guess, and live in them and use different things. So I figure, like I said, if I figure I can't find something in my repository or in the void source packages, I'll look at building a template for it. Like Brave Browser, I built a Brave Browser template because I wanted to be able to have Brave Browser on Void. And so if I can't do that, then obviously build from source. So getting into different distros and stuff, while I still like to do that, and not so much in VMs. Like I said in the last video, I like to install them on hardware because that is more true to life. So I still do install, but I pretty much blow them out as soon as I'm done installing them. I go through the install process, kind of click around in them for a little bit, and then that's kind of the extent of it. So using DistroBox, yeah, I can get in and do stuff, and I have it installed, or I had at one point. I don't know if it's still in there, but I haven't played around with it a whole lot. So it is a cool tool, I will say that. Kind of a neat idea. So there's also another one. I think it's called Distro Hopper, I think is what it was, if I recall. And I messed around with that for a little bit too, but I think it's like the same basic type of thing. I'd have to look back into it, but let's see. But can you let's see here, Dimitri. Oh, I get it. Yeah. So think about the problem is massive culture. I believe it's a lot of humans. People still can communicate with each other on a polite and respectful level. Example, you live stream. Yes, exactly. I 100% completely agree that people communicating with respect and understanding is a thing of the past. I think one of the biggest problems is nobody listens to hear anymore. People just listen to respond. It's like, okay, you say your piece and I'm ready to fire back at you with something else instead of taking the time to listen to what they're saying, assess their opinion, assess what they're thinking. That doesn't mean you have to agree with it, and that doesn't mean you can't pose a differing point of view or argue your point back or whatever else, but there's a respectful way to do it. And I really think people have stopped listening to hear, and they've actually just listened to respond. Okay, it's like, okay, you're making noise, you're making noise, you're making noise. As soon as you stop making noise, I'm going to bite your head off with what I've got to say. And it's really sad because that obviously does nobody any good, and it just progressively gets worse. Audio is bad depending on your hardware. My Acer works fine, but my Lenovo sound is finicky. Yeah, I found just or audio in general on Linux, and excuse me one sec. Audio in general on Linux is a little finicky. You've got Pulse Audio, which I run. You've got Pipewire. You've got all these, these different tools to use. But it just doesn't seem to be as streamlined as, I hate to say it, on Windows and Mac. The audio scene on Linux could use a little work. Now, that's coming from a guy who's not an expert in audio, so maybe somebody out there who actually knows really well what they're doing can tell me that audio on Linux is spectacular. It took me a long time to get my audio working halfway decent. I mean, you've seen my videos in the past. My audio sounds like garbage. I'm hoping with this new mic setup and everything that takes care of that. But there was also some tweaking I had to do in Pulse Audio, and you really got to kind of get in and fine-tune things a little bit. So audio in general on Linux has always been kind of a sticking point for people. It just seems to be a little more so on Void for some reason. And again, that's with people in comments I've read. I personally haven't had any issues getting my audio up and going on Void, but I do know there's a lot of people that have. So, the same after a while. It's nice to have a stable home. It is. I distro hopped for a long time. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Easy go, bro. I like that. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Distro hopping and everything, and finding a home. And I said numerous times that yes, Void. I have found a home in Void Linux. Like I said, I still like to install stuff on hardware, but I immediately uninstall it and go right back to Void. There's just no reason for me to go anywhere else. I have not yet found another distro that does what I need it to do and what I like it to do as well as Void does for me. Now, for somebody else, that might be Fedora, or that might be Arch, or that might be Debian or Ubuntu, or one of the hundreds of other distributions. But yeah, for me, it's Void. And when you find that one distribution, I've always said this, and I've gotten my head bit off for it a couple times, but I'm still going to stick by it. I'm a fan of distribution doesn't matter until it does. And when it does matter is when you found that one that just works for you. So, and that's Void for me, and that's whatever it is for you. Fedora with Hyperland, and your Void videos with Hyperland introduced me to it. It's great. Just want to say that as I'm leaving work and we'll be driving, nice to see you live stream. All right, well, it's good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I'm assuming that means you're taking off now and heading home from work. Drive safe. Get there, yeah, definitely. Take it easy and just be careful when you're going home. Hope you make it home safe. And so thanks for stopping by, though, and taking the time to actually make a couple comments and get involved with me. I appreciate it. So, Lassie, I just run Pipewire and forget about it. Perfect. I actually had Pipewire installed previously when I had Hyperland installed on my, I believe that was on my other laptop. But when I went back to away from Wayland, I just ran Pulse Audio again because Pipewire, I did actually try to install Pipewire on this system again here the other day. I installed it and loaded it and it ran and everything like that. But I ran into one little hiccup. And I thought to myself, why am I even bothering trying to put Pipewire on here? Pulse Audio works perfectly fine. And so I just went back to Pulse. I'll probably go back and mess around with Pipewire again, get it back on there and install and run it again, just because I'm probably going to run another Hyperland video here pretty soon, since it's been a long time since I've done it. And there's been some progress in the project, or I shouldn't say some progress. There's been a lot of progress in the project. It's actually growing. Again, not my cup of tea. I won't use it for my daily driver, but I get a lot of people that ask about it and everything. So I figure I should probably keep myself up to date with it. But that seems to be the thing right now. Hyperland and Arch, those are like if you go on Reddit and look under Unix porn or whatever, that's what you see is my Arch Linux Hyperland race. That's basically what that's what everybody's doing, and it almost seems to me like it's taken away. It hasn't taken away the options you have in Linux, but people who are new, I think that's pretty much all they're seeing. They're seeing this Arch Linux and Hyperland setup, and it's becoming the thing to do. And well, again, that's great if that works for you. It's just not my cup of tea. Lastly, make sure you use the Wire Plumber. I used to have the media session or whatever. But yeah, they changed to Wire Plumber. So luckily when you go through the Void docs have a very good section for Pipewire and Wire Plumber and all that. So going through and making sure you have Wire Plumber installed, making sure the other thing's not running, and you should be good to go. Would i3 be good with Void Linux? Yes, i3 is it's a very stable window manager. It's been around for a long time. I used it for quite some time. So i3 with Void is definitely a good choice. It's very similar to Herbstluft in the way it does things. I shouldn't say very similar, but it is similar to Herbstluft in the way it does things. It's manual tiler, but it is definitely a good window manager. It's been around a long time, so you shouldn't have any problems with that. Another one, if you wanted to go the Wayland route, would be Sway. I've heard Sway hasn't had any problems really on Void, so I haven't tried it myself yet. That's one I haven't done, but. Oh, geez. I forgot my... I was going to get a mouse jiggler because my screen goes blank, and I think it sets my audio and my video offset. I get a little latency in there when I post the recorded video. So I'll have to go in now and check. The last time I just posted it away, and every time my screen would go blank on my end, from what I remember watching, it doesn't go blank on the video, obviously, but all of a sudden my audio, it'll freeze for a second, and then my audio and my video aren't lined up. So I told myself, get a mouse jiggler, or make sure you wiggle your mouse every once in a while to make sure your screens don't go blank. And what did I do? I let my screens go blank. So I think Hyperland is taking over right now, and it upsets me because there's so much out there for Linux. Charlie, I agree 100% with you. I made a comment on something a while back, and it was something to the extent of nothing bad. I just said, somebody made a comment about Hyperland this and Hyperland that, and I just commented that, I'm kind of over it at the moment. I'm honestly getting tired of hearing about it, and I'm trying not to say that in a bad way. I'm not, because like I said, it's an amazing project. The guy has done spectacular stuff. He's done a lot, and it's impressive, way more than I could do. So, I'm not knocking the guy's project. It just seems like people coming into Linux, this is all they're going to see, and they're really going to miss out on all the stuff out there unless they really start digging in. But what's going to happen is they're going to get themselves an Arch. Now, the Arch and Arch install are nice and easy. Get themselves Arch installed. They're going to get Hyperland on. They're just going to yank some dots off of GitHub somewhere, and bam, that's going to be it. And they're going to miss out on everything that Linux has to offer. And that's just my opinion. It might not be the case, but that's just how I kind of see things going. And it's sad because there's so much out there. Half of the stuff, if not more, that I learned is because I was jumping around, trying this and trying that, and just going through all this stuff, as opposed to, okay, now I'm going to get on here and I'm going to do my Arch install real quick. Don't even have to do a command line install anymore, and you can get Arch installed. And man, that used to be a rite of passage, install an Arch. Now it's, you can do it in 12 minutes. It's not this big feat anymore. And now you can just install Hyperland and go grab somebody's dots. And I've said this before, just taking somebody's dots and copying them over. I used to do it, so I don't want to be too hard on people, but I really don't recommend it. Your hardware might be different. Your system's going to be a little different. There's just going to be some differences, and you're going to get stuck with headaches that you don't know how to fix because you don't know what was going on. Now, getting the stock config and then sitting somebody else's custom config next to it and walking through them both and making changes here and there as you go along? Absolutely. Because then when you make a change, you see what happens, you know what's going on, and you know where something breaks. You know when, okay, I've just changed this line, now it doesn't work. Let me go back and change that line back. Let me do a little research, do all that. But so much anymore, it's just a matter of, hey, let me copy paste somebody else's configs in there and we're going to be good to go. And then when something breaks, you have no clue what to do. And I've read in some of these, I see some of these people commenting bugs and stuff on people's dot files, and they're like, oh, this doesn't work and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, no, it works fine on my end. What do you have for, and so then it's suddenly this person who made the configuration file, it's their problem that I should hide my... Like I said, I'm not trying to advertise. I just have this coffee cup. Anyway, that's kind of a rant off on the side note, but I agree with you 100% on that. Had some great times on XFCE 4. You can set it up to feel like CDE. I like the old school CDE workflow. I have honestly never used XFCE. I have actually put it on. I've put it on stuff in virtual machines and stuff like that, and clicked around in it a little bit, but I've never used it as a daily driver. If I'm being completely honest, the only DE I've used, the only full DE I've used as a daily driver in the Linux system is Cinnamon. Cinnamon was what I started on with Linux Mint, and I just fell in love with it and stuck with it. I know a lot of people use KDE, a lot of people like Mate, a lot of people do like XFCE because, if you talk to like Just a Guy Linux, I think that's his favorite, his favorite desktop environment, and so there's a reason it's popular. I get it. It's minimal. It's customizable. It's a neat desktop environment. I just never got into it because I found Cinnamon. I liked Cinnamon, and that's kind of what I stuck with. So, as far as full desktop environments go, that was for me, Cinnamon all the way. KDE I could never get into. Everybody talked about how KDE was great. It's all polished and this and that, and it just didn't feel, I don't know. It almost felt like it was trying too hard, I guess. I don't know. It just seemed like I want something, I want it to look nice, but not overboard, I guess. I don't know. There was just something about KDE that didn't sit right with me. That's not saying it's not a good DE. A lot of people use it. A lot of people swear about it. A lot of people love it. But for me personally, KDE just didn't quite fit for me. Unity. Oh, that was back. That was what? That was GNOME before GNOME, right? Unity. That's what Ubuntu used way back, right? Am I right on that? GNOME people. I guess that's your GNOME people. That is the true way for a desktop. So yeah, GNOME. That's one I really never got into. That just the flow of that one just isn't there for me. I don't understand how you get a lot of people saying, "Hey, this is the workflow on GNOME is spectacular." I just couldn't get it. I could not get it to work for me. Excuse me, one second. Sorry. If I look like I'm squirming around a little bit here, sorry. I put a post out a while back, a few days ago, because I was going to live stream on Monday, but I actually threw my back out somehow this week, and so I've been laid up, and so I've got a lidocaine patch on my back, and had to go get a back brace and stuff like that. So I'm a little uncomfortable sitting in my wood chair, but I wanted to get another live stream out. I wanted to get it back on here with you guys and do a little chatting. So forgive me if I'm a little squirmy. I think the medication they got me on has my mouth and throat dried out a little bit. So I'm sorry if that if that's annoying or bothersome. But NixOS can help with that problem, but still, excuse me, sorry. Looks like you can, but you still have to deep dive into specifics. So any distro you choose that need to do the same investigation, but principle's almost the same. Just need time. Yeah. If you can figure out one distro, you can figure out the rest of them. Yeah, it does. It just takes time getting into them and playing around and messing around with things. A lot of people talk about how difficult Arch was to install, and they talk about how difficult Gentoo is to install, and people get on it and talk about, oh, how do you set up your configuration.nix? You know, there's just these different, and while yes, some of them are a little more, I guess, difficult than others. If you can read documentation and you can follow instruction, even if it's not great documentation, if you can extrapolate enough data out of the information given to you, you should be able to install just about any of them, and understand how they're working and everything like that. This is why I like the command line install distros better than the Calamares install distros and everything like that. While Calamares and all that is great, it gets you up and running quick. I just like the idea of doing everything from the command line to understand what's happening on your system. Now, when I created my Arch install video a couple of months back, somebody actually got on there and said, why would you install it this way when there's Arch install? And it's like, well, again, because understanding what's going on with your system, whether you ever use that information again or not, it gives you a better chance that when something does happen, you're going to understand how to fix it, or you're going to understand whether it's a big deal or not a big deal, or you're going to understand how to go about finding the problem. Whereas when you just go through a graphical installer, click, 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 and you have no idea how your system works, then that's when you kind of run into issues and you start hitting Google and stuff like that, which can be good or bad. No, I'm not saying after you've installed command line a couple times, going to a GUI installer is a bad thing, because yeah, shoot, if you can go to a GUI installer after you already understand the process and what's happening when the system is being installed, then yeah, by all means, do what you want to do, get in there, get it done as quick as possible, and move on to bigger, better things in life. But just understanding the install process and what's going on and what is being put on your system is just, in my opinion, you can never have too much information, and that is one of the best ways to gain information, is understanding how your system is working and how your system is being built. GNOME is amazing for touch devices. Yeah, that's what I've heard. GNOME does work well on touch devices, but I don't really have touch devices. I don't have a tablet or anything like that. Are you talking tablets? Or are you talking like touchscreen? Sorry, are you talking like touchscreen laptops and stuff like that? Everyone should install Gentoo at least once. You will learn so much. The documentation is beyond fantastic. That I will agree with 100%. When I installed Gentoo the one time I've done it, I was completely blown away by the documentation. I'm a big fan of documentation. Sometimes I just like to get in and read it just because. And when I was doing my install of Gentoo and going through the documentation, like I said, I was blown away. I thought the Arch Wiki was good, which it is. But Gentoo, hands down, probably the best documentation out of any distro I have used, tried to install, or even just gone through and read. Gentoo documentation is spectacular. And yeah, I think everybody should try to install Gentoo at least once. I find it amusing that so many people take Arch as, the rite of passage. Oh, I installed Arch and this and that. And it's like, well, yes, installing Arch can be difficult because it is so minimal. It's command line install, it's this and that. On my first shot, I did something wrong, and yeah, it didn't work. But the second try went through like butter. I mean, not a problem whatsoever. And every subsequent attempt since then, not a problem whatsoever. And I think the whole, I don't know, gold star that comes along with the I installed Arch trope, I think is gone away. And I think now the big thing should be, hey, I installed Gentoo successfully, because that should have been the case in the first place. Gentoo's been around the same time as Arch, or they've been around together. So why people are so impressed when somebody installs Arch and not so much when people install Gentoo, I don't know. Gentoo was pretty cool. So my 3 kids use GNOME on Fedora, and it's really easy for them to use. Oh, this is a response to him. Hey, what's up, Matt? What are you up to? Got a celebrity in the house, gentlemen. We got the Linux cast down here. Welcome. Glad to see you. Arch install killed Arch, by the way. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Not that I'm an Arch user anymore. I don't have an issue with Arch, but Arch install definitely did kill Arch. It basically made it accessible to those who maybe it shouldn't have been accessible to, I guess. But then again, that goes against my previous statement of if you can read documentation and you can follow instructions, you should do this stuff. Um, yeah, that's kind of a tough one. Do I think there's people out there using Arch that shouldn't be using Arch? Probably. But do I think if they got it installed the right way, then they should? Yeah. I don't know. Uh, so I once jokingly recommended Gentoo to someone as a first distro. They took it to heart and actually became better sysadmin than me in a month. Dude, absolutely. I 100% can see how that would be the case. Again, it falls back to that. If you can follow documentation and follow rules, or if you can even take a little bit of data and extrapolate enough out of that little bit of data to successfully do something, you're going to learn hands down. And doing that is, yeah. So I honestly don't have an issue with people recommending things like Arch and Gentoo for first distros, almost as if you can get it up and going the correct way, the Arch way or the Gentoo way, then you absolutely deserve to be using it. If you're taking shortcuts and stuff like that, then, well, I guess, you deserve to be using it, but not so much as the other guy. Matt, LOL celebrity. Well, hey, man, you know what? When you're doing the things you're doing, Matt, and growing at the rate you're growing, for a little channel like mine, guys like you, yeah, you're celebrities. So depends on goal. If my goal, stable system for working development as simple user, I don't care what. Was it Arch installer or Void installer? At the end, it does not matter. Again, yeah, Dimitri, like I was saying before, once you've done it once or twice just to have an understanding of how your system works, and that's kind of my whole point. Installing via command line, giving you that knowledge on your system is going to help you in the long run. After that, yeah, installing it with the Arch installer or the Void installer or whatever, Calamares installer, whatever installer you want to use, absolutely. And again, for people that are beginners, yes, if that's the way you want to go, by all means. I'm just saying you're missing out on opportunity to learn a lot from that command line install. But yeah, after that, absolutely. Whatever way you need to get your system installed and up and going, fine by me. Have you spent any time with Micro OS? I haven't. That's what you're going to check out next, huh, Matt? Micro OS. No, I'll have to look into that. So what are you going to run that long-term review type, or what are you going to do on that, Matt? If you can read basically, isn't there 2 Micro OSs? Gosh dang it. I just let my screen die again. Why I'm really bad at that. I definitely need to get one of them mouse jigglers. So OpenSUSE calls it something different these days, but I can't keep track of it. Oh, no. Mini OS. I haven't heard of Mini OS or Micro OS. I'll have to take a peek at those. Is that basically their big selling point, Matt? Is that their low resource usage, low footprint, or what's their thing? So it's still in RC. Don't know if it will be stable or not. All right. So, interesting. So what are your big projects right now there, Matt, besides Micro and Mini OS or whatever? You guys got a lot going on over there? That's a huge issue for me with Linux stuff and AI stuff, shiny objects. Yeah. Shiny object syndrome is definitely a thing. Everybody wants to see the latest and greatest, and I fall for it and get stuff and think, this is going to be great, and then it's not. So hopefully that's not the case here. So let's see what we got going on. That's funny. I actually moved my comments onto my screen right in front of my face, so I wouldn't have to keep looking away. But even with my glasses, I'm having a hard time reading that. So let's see here. Am I missing anybody? Linux Phone, another one, huh? The Pine Phone's got some competition, huh? I've never heard of is that Furry Labs? That's sounds like a questionable name. I agree. If my goal will be learn how it all works under the hood, then it makes sense to try to do it all via command line. But in the end, for the road, it will be scripts, which will simply hands typing. By the way, you can set a script for your screen to stay on, especially if you use Xorg. Yeah, well, there's a whole lot of stuff I could can do, but sometimes I just get lazy. I got to do something. I got to figure something out though. But again, this is only my second time, so maybe when I start doing this a little more, I'll remember to do stuff like that. I just sat down tonight and thought I got a little bit of time to kill, so let's get a little more practice at this whole live thing under my belt and see if maybe someday I can't catch up with you there, Matt. I don't I don't foresee, but hey, one can have some dream, huh? So hey, Matt, I was gonna ask you. Sorry, I'm focusing all my questions at you, but I was gonna ask you um your boy, what's his name, Zany. He stop putting stuff out, or what's he just do the live stream with you, or he kind of fall off the face of the earth on the videos thing, or what was his deal? If you learn the SSH stack, you'll realize that there's not much of a better way. Personally, use the Fun2 keychain to open up my keys when I log in. All right. Dude, there needs to be a better SSH API secrets management option out there. Yeah. What do we got here? It's great until you have tons and tons of machines and servers. Hello. You got tons and tons of machines and servers? You got a lot going on there? Yeah, I don't think he was too thrilled with. I think I don't know what it was. I watched something of his from a while back, and I think there was something I don't think he enjoyed it too terribly much, and so. So, what time do we got here? Oh, we got 6:30. Oof. All right. Well, I think what. All right, so I got about maybe a couple more minutes here, guys. I'm gonna have to end this chat session because got to get some dinner made and get some stuff ready. So head back to work tomorrow after my about a week off with my back injury. So gotta prep myself for that. But yeah, I just started getting into window managers. It's starting to get daunting to get basic desktop environment features set up. I was on a roll for a few days, but I got overwhelmed. Any tips from you all? As far as, all right, Matt, you have a good one too. As far as when you say getting basic desktop environment features set up, what are we talking here? Are we talking like a dock or a panel, or are we talking services, or what type of stuff are you struggling with? Dimitri, can you share with us your plans about the channel? Are you talking me, Dimitri? You asking my plans about my channel, or are you asking Matt there about his channel? Because yeah, I'll give you my plans about my channel, but if that's not what you're looking for, then it might not help you too much. Use something pre-configured, in my opinion. CacheOS, Hyperland, or like JCool. Yeah, it's my channel. In a VM to learn, that's good advice there. Como se, como sa. So again, with the with the other dots, pre-configured setup is one thing. It's like you're installing a system with a desktop environment already set up. That's one thing. Installing a window manager and then bringing somebody else's dots in, like I said previously, yeah, by all means, if it gets your system up to where you want it, and you're okay with that, and everything works, then that's fine. Excuse me. But again, the issue you run into is if your system's slightly different than the other person's, or there's things that they have that you don't. You can just run into issues. So I would highly recommend, if you're gonna do that, at least make sure you understand the changes they've made and what's going on. Read any readmes they've got, anything like that. Just verify that you know what's going on in their system or in their configuration before you just slap it on your machine and hope for the best. But Dimitri, yes, my channel. Well, basically, my plans for my channel are to keep kind of doing what I'm doing. I want to branch out a little bit more into doing some more live streams, into doing stuff that is a little more. I want to keep with my tutorials. Obviously, I enjoy doing tutorials. I want to do a Bash walkthrough. Obviously not fully encompassing on Bash, but I want to get as much knowledge back out there in Bash as I can. I want to get some more stuff out there. Some install videos, some just basic stuff for people to get up and going. I want to dig into a little bit more. I don't want to call them opinion pieces, but I want to, I want to sit down and talk about topical issues, topical stuff, so those will probably be more in the live streams, probably do some videos on those as well. But, yeah, just basically overall tutorials on Bash, on setting up your window manager. And that's something you're interested in. Obviously, I can do stuff like that for you. But basically, it's just going to be kind of going with what I've been doing with the tutorials and stuff. Getting a few more live streams in here. Maybe doing this once a week or once every other week type of deal on the live streams. Getting some more topical videos out there, and just kind of keeping the channel alive. Again, my biggest thing is I'm going to try not to focus so much on my growth. Try not to, because that's not why I started this channel in the first place. Like I said, I started this channel because I want to be able to put content out there that helps people. And if it's one person that's watching my channel that gets helped, and that's all I get, that's awesome for me. That's my main goal. But I found myself over the past few months and the past year or so, watching channels that are way newer than mine start up and just take off, same type of content, but they just go to town. And I know 99.9% of that is me, stuff that I have to fix on my end. But I also found it disheartening. It was just like, man, and I found myself, instead of being happy for those folks, being jealous of those folks. And I really just want to get back to, hey, if my channel grows, spectacular, I'd love to see that. But if not, and I just keep trucking along the way I'm doing, as long as I'm out there helping somebody, as long as somebody is getting something from my content, that is all I care about. So I don't do that with like popular ones though too, plus on base systems like minimal. Yeah. Your channel is great, bro. So, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the input. You are absolutely welcome. I'm glad to have you. Scott, how you doing, man? You got in here right at the end. I'm just saying my goodbyes, and I'm going to be calling it quits for the day. I got some stuff to get done, but live stream from Jake. Yeah, this is my second one. I did one last week too. We're just trying to get a little practice at this, and maybe put this ugly mug on screen every once in a while, So here we are. It's good to see you too. I've missed the past few of Sean Powers, which, by the way, if anybody is interested in it's a great channel. He does live streams every Sunday. It's Sean Powers. It's great. He's got a lot of good information. So I'd highly recommend checking him out. But yeah, I've missed his lives the past few weeks, and it's been a bummer. But I want to get back to seeing his stuff. So. So how you been, Scott? Other than that, you keeping yourself busy? I figure I'll say hi to you a bit here. You're one of the few that I see. Well, I should say one of the few. You're one of the ones I see quite often on there, and I appreciate your patronage, your comments, and your engagement in my channel. So, Dimitri, you're very welcome. I like your channel. I'm glad I found this channel. One more island with good and useful information. Found researching how to install on my ThinkPad T14 Gen 4 Void with Hyperland. Found it. Awesome. Glad you found it, Dimitri, and hopefully I can keep that going and keep everything informative and professional and enjoyable for people to watch. So, but I am going to have to call it quits, guys. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week. It's late here. Well, getting late here. I don't know where it is, what it is with you guys, but oh, well, congratulations to your oldest friend there, Scott. That's awesome. I'm glad he's glad they're married. I don't know if it's a he or she, so glad they got married, and that's awesome. So that's definitely something to be grateful and celebratory about. So that's awesome. Tell them I said congratulations. They will have no idea who I am. In fact, that would be pretty funny if you just said, "Hey, Jake says congratulations." They'd probably be like, who the heck is that?" In fact, funny story, just real quick. I had a friend that actually, when I was younger, who would do stupid stuff at work, and then when his boss would get mad at him, he would say, "It's okay, Jake told me I could." And I had no clue he was doing this until he invited me to his work Christmas party one year. And I went to this Christmas party, and he introduces me to his boss. And his boss looks at me and then looks at him and then looks back at me, and he says, "You're Jake?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he just gave me the look of death and walked away. And I was like, "What is this all about?" And I turned around to Trevor, and he's standing there laughing at me. And he says, "Oh, every time I do something dumb, I just told him it's okay. Jake told me I could." I was like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me." Um, so anyway, that was just a short little anecdote about my life. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I got to get going here. Have a good one, and you guys stay safe. God bless.